Yes guys, what is going on? Welcome to episode 27 of the Under-23 Sorare Road to Glory. We've got a big episode, lads. Some big things happened last week, so we're going to get into that. And I've also taken some advice from you guys in the comment section in bringing in a new forward. So we'll get into all of that, lads. Leave a like if you enjoy the video, and let's get into things. First things first, recap of last weekend. 270 was an absolute shit show, if I'm being honest. This was on me, like fully. Ivan Heals 0 here, where it says no game. It was because the Andorra game was postponed. I think there was fires in Spain. And yeah, it caused a couple of games to be called off. I think Valencia was one of them. And then, of course, the Andorra game in the second division. Now, yeah, I knew this before the lock, before the deadline. And every Friday between 1 and 3, of course, me and Quinny do the deadline stream together. And I even mentioned it on there, like I knew the information. But I completely forgot I played Ivan Heel in one of my lineups. And yeah, by the time I noticed, lads, you know, the game week was live and I missed out on that. And yeah, I've also missed out on a 93 from Monchu. He hasn't hit a peak in a long time. They beat Oviedo 3-0, absolutely gutted. Klein Hansel scored really well as my captain. I mean, yeah, Koulibaly, decent AA, but no decisive from him in a 0-0 draw. And then Campelat, lads. I mean, yeah, they were 0-0 for a little while. I thought, you know what, there might be a chance of a clean sheet here, but I was kidding myself. They ended up losing 4-1 to Sivasspor. And yeah, error led to goal. Absolute nightmare of a 270 lineup. But of course, it wasn't, you know, it wasn't our priority last week, and that's fine. And then for Under-23 Limited, again, I do remember mentioning in last week's episode that it could be that sort of 30 to 35 AA game for Darland. He ended up getting 43 AA against UPenn away. Massive game, 2 tackles, 7 duels won, 1 interception, a couple of penalty area entries, and just a lot of passing there, which, yeah, equated to a really good score. The rest of the boys obviously didn't turn up. Alan Montes giving a penalty away, but getting 24 AA kind of counteracted it, but it's, yeah, we were always up against it. And Amobieta 1-1, decent draw for them, but again, nothing good for Campos. But lads, here's where it gets super, super spicy. Right, so we managed to hit the $8. Get in there. I'm so happy. The first time. It's the first time, you know, on Sorare that I've managed to hit like the middle threshold in any scarcity. I know like this series is obviously limited based, but even at rare, super rare, I've literally not been able to hit it once yet. So I'm buzzing to say that I've managed to hit it for the first time in Cap 240 limited on this series. It's £6. I think, what do we get from it? £6. £6.32 is, you know, the $8 conversion from, you know, dollars to pounds. And yeah, that takes us to £22 won in thresholds, which, like I've mentioned it before, I know this is a little bit muddled up, I need to refresh it, but basically, like, that's, you know, you're looking at 20% of what we, you know, initially put into the series. We put £100 in, and just over, you know, just over £22 back in thresholds alone. Balance right now is at £19. We have brought in a few players, like I mentioned at the start of the video, which we'll definitely get into. But yeah, we managed to scrape it. We are 4 points above the 340 points mark. Carlos Martin on Monday evening, he actually had a big chance missed. And then after the game, Opta must have knew what was going on and said, you know what, we can't not let the Road to Glory get its first threshold. And yeah, they took away the BCM. He got 50.6 as his score, and yeah, managed to get us over that line. So I'm forever grateful to my friends at Opta for changing things there for me. Yuito Suzuki, we said it was a good fixture for him. He got himself a goal, but no AA. Al Karauni, by the way, Friday night, curse didn't come for us. Nearly 80 points. Got himself an assist for the winning goal. Andrade, I think he had a last man tackle at one point, but ended up on 50 AA. This guy's an absolute beast. One of the best cards I've ever won, I think, in any scarcity. He's been insane recently. And this was the bizarre one, right? Right, so this game between Eibar and Espanyol, you know, big game, ended 3-2 to Espanyol. Eibar were like 2-0 up for the majority of the game. Look at that, 90 plus 7, 90 plus 9. Espanyol came back to score 2 goals, which absolutely killed me because Zidane had a last man tackle, right? But he also had a clean sheet at one point. So it was all looking crazy. He had like double decisive. I was like, you know what? We're flying here. And then ends up conceding 3, you know, loses the clean sheet. And then, you know, ends up on 32 points. You know, if he didn't have the last man tackle, it would have been a lot worse, of course. But we could have ended up actually getting a card reward from 240 if that didn't happen. I know, easier said than done, but we could have literally been in tier 3 territory, actually. 30 points away. So a little bit gutted in that sense, but ultimately I'm buzzing. We managed to hit, the middle threshold, which was the goal of the weekend realistically, and it's, allowed us to really kick on as far as buys go. So bought in this Emilio Martinez, who plays with Alan Montes actually in the Mexican League, and I think he scored something stupid. Yeah, he got like 33 AA, got himself a goal. He's a right back. But, he hasn't really played too much yet, so I haven't really seen too much of him. But the way he's scoring on the Matrix, quite concerning in a good way for me. Like, he's just racking up tackles, interceptions, duels. He's up to like £1.20 odd now. I ended up paying 90p for him. I think it was Friday night or whenever Nexeca played. I ended up buying him, whilst the game was going on, because I was watching it on Sorare Data thinking, this guy looks like a bit of a beast. And he ended up scoring after that. So, and then Griffin Yao, who I've just recently bought today. Somebody that, I read the comments and a few of you guys mentioned that I kind of need to buy a decent forward. And I spent, £5.47? Yeah, £5.47 from BaselBot for a Griffin Yao, who is a player I rate. Like, he was at DC United in the MLS. Good player, got his move to Belgium. Didn't really do much for a little while. A few injuries sort of stunted anything he was doing. And then he's come into some incredible form. Some really good games from him, some high peaks. And of course, he kind of partners up nicely with Nicholas Madsen. Yeah, I think he'll bring us a little bit more quality going forward, because as you know, my forwards are just a little bit dodgy, aren't they? Having a little look at our forwards, we've got Griffin Yao, who obviously we just bought. Martin's been good for us, obviously just won us that threshold. Brennan was a kind donation from our good friend Andrew Laird, who's been okay for us, but again, he's in and out of that Tottenham team. Terence Boyd is gone off the face of the earth. Koulibaly's actually been okay. Duhara's not doing much at all. Larson's been fine, actually. And then Badgie's gone off the face of the earth as well. So we've only got like 3.5, maybe 4 strikers there that we can rely on. And, you need depth at the end of the day in this game. Like, you can't just afford to play the same guy every time, because the matchups aren't going to fall for that team and him every game. They're not going to score every single game. And so, you need a rotation of players to be able to pick and choose, who has the best matchup, etc. So I'm happy with the 2 cards I've brought in. I think that puts us, £19.67 after spending basically our whole threshold on those 2 players. But I think it's money well spent. So I think we're in a decent position to go into some lineup building for this weekend. Now, I think we have to make 240 our bread and butter right now, lads. We need to capitalize on this $8 threshold, the £6.32 threshold. It needs to be our bread and butter. I don't think we've got the players to really compete at under 23 to the level we want to. Our best players right now, realistically, are just not under 23. Like, Andrade's on fire. We need to capitalize on that. AAA again this weekend, which is lovely. So he's definitely going to be starting for us. Looking at goalkeepers, I mean, Campolat's L15 is actually quite tasty, considering the fixture. They play Konyaspor at home. Now, I'm not saying Campolat's definitely going to go out there and get himself a clean sheet, per se, but I would fancy him to do decently well, and he should outscore that 38. He's going to go in there for us at 38. In midfield, we've got Madsen at 63, which is a little bit punchy, I think, as far as L15 costs go. Pasalic looks pretty cool. They have a good fixture. Low-ish L15, which I can get behind. Ivan Heel at 52 feels fine. Monchu feels okay as well at 53. I tell you what, Mohamed Cham is back. Thank God. Look at that. Assist against Rennes. 20 AA against Nice. He's now an option. We're now a little bit stronger in midfield. Could have the same conversation as well about Yuito Suzuki. Nice low L15. Brooklyn Reigns, again, I probably won't be able to use him realistically. I'm not really too in love with those midfielders there. I'd like to play Madsen and Yao, to be honest, in here, but I don't think we could afford to do that, could we? If we went Madsen, Yao, yeah, that leaves us 25. L15 points, that wouldn't be enough for us to do anything. So, yeah, let's avoid that then. What if we go Suzuki, because he's super low, and he has a really good home fixture? I mean, we need somebody that's definitely going to start. And if we're talking definite starters, I mean, we could go Yao again, but I'd like to pair him with Madsen, I think. So I might keep him for another lineup. If we go Larson, that leaves us 49 points. What could we do with 49 points? Darlin's 50, which is really frustrating. Al Karauni's 49, but they play away to Ajax. I'm not really in love with that fixture. If we go over to play Sharper, I don't think we have lineup predictions yet for the Croatian League. No, we don't. So I'm still having to go off instinct, really, with Pasalic for now. But let's just assume he does start. Let's throw him in there. Let's captain Andrade. That gives us a 75 lineup strength score, which is pretty decent. Even though it's only given us a 6% chance of hitting that 340. I think I'm going to aim for it anyway, to be honest. And then if we go to under 23 limited then, Campos is our only goalkeeper choice. In defense, we either go Darland, Montes. Martinez is in there as well. I'm not really too in love with any of them. Let's go Madsen in midfield. We have to partner in with Griffin Yao. That can be our little Westerloo attack midfielder stack there, which I can get behind. But a part of me really wants to go with the Nexeka defensive stack in Montez and my new guy. Where's he to? Emiliano Martinez. I'd probably go in and captain Madsen because he is on set pieces, and then for 270 we're going to go Lucas Zidane. We do have Clerk back, by the way, and they have a nice home fixture. He was suspended last game, so he'll go in there for us. Koulibaly has a good fixture, although it's away from home. Like, Brennan is the play. I just don't think he's going to play, if I'm being honest. Like, if we go over to play sharper, you can see the play sharper guy doesn't really think Brennan's going to start, which I kind of understand. Like, I don't know if Werner should be 75% on, like, more nailed than Kulu. In my opinion, that doesn't seem right. But what do I know? I'm not, an avid Tottenham fan. So if we're going to play it safe, we probably have to go Koulibaly. That leaves us 108 points. We could actually go in. I mean, Ivan Heel and Monchu are playing against each other. Ivan Heel's at home, so I probably would fancy him there, even though Monchu absolutely smashed it last week. And then do we have to just use one of our Darlands? I think we kind of do, don't we? We can't waste another 40-odd from Darland. I won't be able to live with myself. So I'm actually going to go in and captain him. And then that leaves us with, 67 lineup strength score. It's fine. Not unbelievable, but I can deal with it. And so this is what we're going into battle with for this upcoming weekend, lads. 240 as the priority lineup. We've got 5 L15 points remaining, but I think it's fine. I think the Passalis fixture is good enough for him to outscore that 44, as is Yuito Suzuki's 38 L15. All at home, bar Andrade, but he's a beast right now. It doesn't matter where he's playing. Feels like he's fixture-proof. 270 and under 23 limited. I mean, of course we built the under 23 limited before 270, but in actual fact, I think they're quite evenly matched as far as, what they could go out and do for me. Obviously I'm rooting for the under 23 limited a little bit more. I've just brought in that Griffin Yao, as well as that Emilio Martinez. So the Nexeka and the Westerloo boys need to do it for me this weekend, but Campos' fixture is just not ideal, really. Zaragoza are a decent team, and as we know, Amorbieta are just rubbish. So if you're asking me what would I expect from this weekend, what am I hoping for, it's that middle threshold again from 240. And then it's, can we sneak a card in 270 and under 23 limited? That's, that is the goal of this series. That is the goal. That is the level of sort of gallery we have. We can't be expecting to go out and win things with these players. It's just as simple as that. Yeah, the 1% of the 1%, it could happen, but ultimately we do have to be realistic and be okay, and just be okay with not winning every weekend, because it does then make the wins so much more valuable. So I hope you enjoyed the video, lads. Let me know what you think of the buys. Let me know what you think of Yao and Martinez. I hope you have a great game week. Let me know in the comment section how you're feeling about it, and I shall see you guys in the next episode.